Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and another video on series about Salvage. So today's video we're going to continue with the Audi S1. I'm hoping to make some good progress with this car today. We found in the previous video we've actually got it running off the key. Cannot believe that. Great, like, you know how long I've had this car, and the fact that a simple new starter relay circuit solved it. I'm a bit annoyed with myself. I didn't think about it sooner really, but hey ho, there's going to be more problems with this car, I know that, and obviously I do know at the end of the last video I did mention anyone wants to put any comments about what I've done, anything I can change, please do. That video is not actually out when I'm recording this part of this video, so don't think I'm ignoring all the questions or advice or anything. They just don't exist yet. I know it's a bit complicated. I'm videoing this before the previous videos come out on YouTube, so we will get to all that. But today I've got some plans, so spin around, talk about what we're going to do, I think, and then put it into action really. So there it is, still sat in the naughty corner, even though it's not being naughty anymore, it's being good. So what we're going to do, I'm going to have to obviously have a bit of a clear up around here, and I plan on driving that car to here and then eventually on the ramp, because as I mentioned in the previous video, I want to make sure everything is fixable before I start putting this interior back in, mainly being the tank malfunction that we have. So first thing, get it over there, scan it, go through all the errors on the system, make sure everything's accessible, everything can be got to. If everything is okay, I will put it on the ramp, have a look under it, and then start putting this interior together, because that's going to be a mission in itself. I'm starting to think I probably know what quite a lot of these are for, because obviously this is the ignition barrel is wired into, I don't know what you'll call it, basically the module that houses the both stalks. So a lot of these wires are going to be for like indicators, wipers, to make the stalks work. So we are going to have to wire them back up at some point, which I don't think it's going to be too difficult to do. But that doesn't stop us getting all the rest of the interior, like the carpet, all the seats back in. I don't know if I'd go ahead of the dashboard until I've got most of this figured out. But we can definitely get a lot of this back in. And like I said, it needs a very good clean because it's all started to go mouldy. It's on its surface, it'll all clean up. It's just because obviously over the winter it does get damp in here. It's a metal building, it's not insulated, it does get damp, so things do, if not touched and moved around, get a bit of surface mould. Right, are we going to try and actually drive this out? This car has never moved under its own power since I bought it. We did it running, but we never tried to move it, so this is going to be exciting. I'll get camera on, I'll get a bit of tidying up done, and I'm going to try and get in there and, like I said, drive it out. So I'll have to move a few little bits, try and put a little box in to sit on, and fingers crossed, because we don't know anything about the clutch, the gearbox. Right, let's go, let's get on. Did you see it? It just moved out under its own steam. Excellent. What that did remind me of is that there's no brakes. Something's going on with the brakes. The pedal, there's nothing in the pedal. Right. I've got the scanner on, connected up. I wiped all codes, so I've only got active codes right now, and this is the engine control module. So we've got cooling fan, which, yeah, there's no rad pack on it. Coolant temp sensor, circuit eye, there's no coolant in it. Indicator light for start stopper operation, lost communication with HVAC, lost communication with steering rack, steering column, invalid data from instrument panel. They're all going to be due to the dashboard being out. There's nothing plugged in behind there. All the heater systems unplugged. They will all go with the dash in, I would suspect. So then if we look at brakes, there's a code on the brakes. This is just going to be brake fluid, I suspect. There must be a leak somewhere. Oh, tyre pressure warning. Okay, so we're not bothered about that. Central electronics. Trouble codes. Steering column electronics control module, that's fine. Climate control, supply for left LED, supply for right LED, the lights aren't in. Really close sensor, electrical airing circuit. Well, the boot's open, so yeah. Terminal 58D, permanent open circuit, short circuit, B+, left beam, headlights. Terminal 58D, permanent open circuit. Weird one, that one. I mean, there's so much on here. All I can do is start putting it back together, I think. There's literally 3/4 of the car is unplugged at the moment. So it's never going to be happy. Crash sensor, yeah, driver's airbag, all the passenger airbag. Driver thorax airbag, igniter. So yeah, there's going to be a wire in there for the airbag. Interesting. Passenger seat redundant, passenger side redundant signal path for airbag. Keys switch off, open, so yeah, I mean, like I said, I need to narrow these down, I think. I'm looking really for this tank malfunction, and I can't find anything now. That was my main concern. Fuel gauge sensor resistance too high, fuel gauge sensor 2 resistance too high. Function limitation due to mess. Yeah, I didn't think the fuel gauge were working. I mean, yeah, there's not a lot we can do here without starting putting it back together. See if this message comes up again. Passenger airbag off. See, the fuel tank malfunction isn't coming on now. There it is. It is there. Right, I think the only way to proceed with this is that many errors on it. I do want to have a look under it, that is definite. I want to have a look under it now. And then we're just going to start, we're going to have to get this interior back in and narrow down these errors, these problems. I'm aware of a few things I need to change. But yeah, it's been that long, I can't remember fully. But yeah, let's get it on the ramp, have a look under it. So we haven't looked under this car yet at all, and I know there's going to be something under there. I just know it. Well, I'm devastated. I think it's the end of the road for this Audi S1. I think I'm just going to be diving into a never-ending hole of problems. Now I've had a look under it. As I've always said from the beginning, it's all down to safety. I have to make sure whatever I do to these cars, they're back on the road as safe as, if not safer than, they came out of the factory. And I'm just not convinced with this one, and if I'm not convinced, that kind of tells me I shouldn't be doing it. And I don't think I'll ever get to the end of the electrical issues. I'm going to turn around and just show you some stuff that I've found underneath, and trying to explain a bit better exactly what I'm thinking, where my head is at the moment. So it's up on the ramp. Where's my torch? It's over here. I was aware that the fire had travelled a little bit underneath this car. I wasn't aware it had got so far back, in all fairness. I mean, on the front, there isn't any issues. There might be a very slight gearbox leak somewhere by the looks of it. Nothing major. But no, there's no real problems up front, although we do have no brakes, which I'm not too sure why, because there isn't any liquid fluid leaking anywhere. But yeah, there's nothing real. I'm not concerned about nothing up front. As we come along this passenger side, you can see, well, on that side, see the plastic guard? Runs all the way along. Well, it would have had the same on this side. It's completely gone because it's all melted. We've got a lot of fire damage up there. And yeah, down this side we've got our brake lines, which are extremely charred, melted. They would have to come out and be redone. I mean, it's not end of the world, it's not that hard to replace brake lines, I'm not too concerned. This big black cable here, that is the main power cable that runs from the battery in the boot all the way to the engine bay. Again, you could replace it. It wouldn't be that difficult to do. Then we get to the fuel tank. The fuel tank is melted and it's almost gone all the way through. I mean, it's lucky they put this out when they did, because I bet it was only a minute, 20-30 seconds off the whole car being alight, because you can see the inner skin through there, clear skin. That's not far off going through, so the tank would have to come down. I don't know what's going on above the tank, because fire has been up there. You can see it's all charred and melted up there. Handbrake cable's seized on this side. I can smell a bit of fuel, I'll be honest with you. Nothing else really any further back, really. I'm getting to that point where I'm thinking, you know, all these electrical issues we've already got in the inside with the loom that's not perfectly correct. How long am I going to spend chasing to try to get this right? I mean, not like I said, I can change a fuel tank, I can put brake lines in it, I can put a new power cable in it. Not concerned or any of that. It's doing all this, spending all this money, all this time to find out that modules have been damaged in the fire, ECU, no electrical issues from the fire damage to the original wiring loom. I've got to think about this sensibly, and like I said, I've got to think about this in a safe manner. If I put it all back together, it could possibly set fire again. If I miss something, if, you know, there's electrical issues, I mean, do you know what I mean? I'm going down, like I said, a very deep hole with this. And if I keep going down it, that hole may never end. I might just end up in this same position 2-3 weeks down the line, having spent another £1,000, £1,500 on it, which I will never recoup. And like I said, if I'm not convinced it's going to be safe, I shouldn't be going through with it really anyway, should I? So as sickening as it is, I do think this is the end of the line for this car. And I mean, in terms of financials, should I say, I'll tell you the stuff, I'm not bothered. This car cost me £4,600 the day that I bought it. it wasn't a runner, bear that in mind. We proved that it runs now. Got a full interior, all the running gear, wheels. There's a lot of parts I can sell off this car. And I know it's a hassle breaking cars, I know. But I'm not going to get out of it if I try and sell it as a whole, as a breaker to a breakers, because you don't pay that kind of money for a breaking car. I'm going to have to break it myself. The car isn't a breaker. I mean, on the logbook, it's not a category B, obviously. It's a Cat N, I think. It might be a Cat S, it might be a Cat N, I can't remember. So there's a lot of value in a lot of parts here. A lot of parts. It's got the super sport seat, it's a complete interior. We know the engine runs, we know it drives, 65,000 miles. So I think rather than keep diving into it, we might actually have been able to solve it. I'm not convinced. The smart way, the right thing to do here is admit probably wasn't the best buy. Fire damaged cars. To be fair, the pictures of it didn't look bad. It didn't look bad at all. But I'd never bought a fire damaged car, and I didn't really kind of think about how far it could travel without showing any signs on a picture. And I can take it as a learning lesson. I will get out of it financially, no problem. I'll get my money back. Be time, obviously I've got to put time into stripping it, but the interior is already stripped, so there's no point putting it back together. It is a disaster. I'm annoyed because I really wanted the car. I've told you all I wanted to keep it. I wanted it to be the wife's car. I like the car, so I'm annoyed from that side of things. I'm annoyed that, I won't say I've led you all on, because up until 20 minutes ago my intention was to repair the car. Obviously I wouldn't have gone through all this trouble. Once I'd proved it ran even with the link, that was more than enough. I didn't need to prove it ran off the key to be able to sell the engine. So I wouldn't have gone this far. I'm disappointed for you all, because I'm sure you're all looking forward to this car being repaired. But we've had some enjoyment out of it. I've made quite a few videos, and some have done really well. So it's not been a bad experience in total. I'm glad I bought it, glad I went through the process. I've learnt a lot with this car, especially when it comes to electronics. And it's just another experience to fall back on if I'm ever thinking about buying a fire damaged car again, isn't it? I'm a bit more educated, prepared. So really, there's nothing more to tell you. I mean, obviously, if any of you guys have got an Audi S1 and you need some parts, get in touch. There's, like I said, there's a lot of really good parts on this car that can be sold. And now I'm going to have to make that eBay advert and commence the hassle and aggro of a lot of people emailing and asking questions and wanting to buy things. And I mean, if you ever broke a car, you'll know exactly what I mean. It is a bit of an hassle, but it's something that's going to have to be done. So overall, I'm not actually that upset. I've enjoyed the process, and this is where it's ended up. So there's nothing much we can do other than smile. It is the new year, and deal with it the best way we can. Move on. We've got plenty of other cars to work on, other things to do. And end of the day, if this goes, I have a free spot to buy another car. So that's one positive. In all fairness, I'll probably replace it before I've sold it. That's what I tend to do, and have to find somewhere to put it. Because it'll probably take a while to get rid of it, I think, in total. If the main big items sell, then I can strip all the little bits, put them into a corner, make a shelf. I mean, someone might want a rolling shell, maybe. Sell the road and sell the whole lot. We'll just have to see what the interest is. But yeah, like I said, I'm really sorry it's turned out this way. It wasn't my intention, it wasn't my plan. But there's nothing more really I can do. I think I need to edge on the side of caution with this one. And it is what it is. At the end of the day, people's safety, whether it's my family or if anyone bought it, is way more important than YouTube videos, making money, selling cars. Health and safety comes first in all aspects. So yeah, I do apologise, but thank you for watching. You guys watching my videos helps, especially when things like this happen, because that's what I do it for. So on that bombshell, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you press the subscribe button, because they don't always end up like this. I bet I've only had a couple of cars I haven't been able to see through. Handful of cars, maybe 4 or 5 cars. But it is, yeah, whatever. I'm just talking for the sake of talking now, aren't I? So thanks for watching. Like I said, I apologise it's ended like this. We can't win them all. Say goodbye to the Audi S1. You won't be seeing it on the channel again. Cheers. See you in the next one. Bye. Right, it's now the next day. I'm just about ready to go up to the unit, but it's now after the first video coming out. Does that make sense? It's confusing, this, isn't it? I'm now after the first video coming out, so I thought it was only right just to do a little bit extra at the end, just to thank you all for your comments, advice about this Audi S1, and so you're all completely right. This doesn't solve anything. If anything, it'll probably cause a lot more problems, like the start-stop, immobiliser. Obviously, it's all irrelevant now. It's not going to get fixed, but I did want to just, obviously, you've took the time to put these comments up and advice, and it's only fair for me to reply, really. So, yeah, thank you. I've read a lot of them, not all of them. Some call me cowboys. I totally understand. But look, anyway, having thought about it myself before, obviously I saw all these comments, and you've seen this video I've just done. I got to the conclusion in the end, it's not right doing all this. It's not the right fix. If anything, all it does is prove that the engine runs, which is great anyway. It will help me on resale, on selling it for parts. So, yeah, if I'm honest, it should have only ever been a parts car. It should never have I shouldn't have contemplated ever putting it back on the road. I didn't quite grasp, like I said, the potential for so much damage from the fire. You know, I thought what you saw is what you got, which my own naivety, but like I said, it's an experience and I'll know better for next time. So yeah, like I said, thank you for the comments, massively appreciated. You're all completely right. It's not getting fixed, simple as that. I'm not saying it couldn't get fixed. I'm not prepared to do it. And like I said, I've got to think about safety of other people as well, haven't I? So, thank you. See you in the next one.